Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto Uncensored. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video we're with 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. He's the Lossless CTO, a fantastic project, Lossless, a project that I think is massively undervalued in many different ways, and I do recommend you go away, do your own research on this project. But I'm proud to be sat here with having this interview. I think it's a fantastic interview. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right, let's get down to the interview. All right, so welcome. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule today. Best to start with an introduction. Would you mind just telling us who you are, a little bit about Lossless, and I guess how you got into crypto?
Yeah, sure. So hello everyone. Super excited to be here. I'm 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. I'm the CTO at Lossless. So basically, Lossless is a crypto security company. We've started Lossless a couple of years ago with Lossless protocol, which is essentially an update to how tokens work. So a short history of that is like a couple of years ago, but still now too, there were and there still are a lot of incidents where like millions of dollars get stolen almost every week from like exchanges, from crypto protocols, and it's a huge problem. So we set out to kind of solve that, and the way we wanted and imagined that can be done is by changing the actual behavior of the tokens. So like a lot of people think that the immutability in crypto is like a nice thing and like the maybe the best property of crypto. And I think for some tokens and like some cryptocurrencies, that's kind of is okay. I would really not like for like Bitcoin transactions to be reversible, But I think for other projects and especially smaller projects, that does not apply. Because I think you would not like your bank account to be kind of non-reversible. So like in case, a scammer manages to scam you, that transaction is not like, your bank is not able to stop it. So we took this philosophy and decided to bring it to crypto. And essentially that's how Lossless protocol works. Like we added this ability to freeze and retrieve tokens that have our snippet of code. Of course, that's done not in a centralized manner, but in a decentralized fashion. So we have this lossless committee, which consists of multiple parties, and all of them have to agree and decide that like a report is a valid one, and like we can proceed, with the retrieval of funds. So essentially that's, how Lossless protocol works. But very soon after building that and launching it and actually having success with that, meaning we were able to retrieve like hundreds of thousands of dollars with that were stolen from the tokens that had our protection tools on, we realized that in order for this to work, we have to also think about how we can report these incidents in time. Because, there's this problem that if somebody steals some tokens and immediately dumps them, sells that token, in turn buys Ethereum or like USDT or USDC or some other token that does not have our protection, like they're out of the perimeter, and there's like not much we can do at that point. So we realized that reacting in like short period of time is essential, and that's when we started building monitoring and threat intelligence tool called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 tool is already live and open for everyone to use. It basically allows you to track incidents and be alerted about anything malicious that's happening off-chain and on-chain. So yeah, that's our primary focus right now. And I think both of these products of ours, like, they combine very well, and in turn kind of give way more security benefits than like only one of them would, you know. In combination, they are they cover like pretty wide variety of attack vectors.
Sure. So in terms of all these bridge hacks then that we see at the moment, are you kind of suggesting that, you know, there is no need for people to potentially lose their funds that they've invested in cryptocurrency because of the Lossless tool being able to retrieve those if the projects were perhaps partnership or using those you know, pieces of software?
Yeah, that's one of the missions of Lossless, to basically have enough of integrations with protocols like bridges, but also just any DeFi or gaming or NFT project protocol. So if we have enough of integrations with our technology, then we cover enough of like perimeter to help like enough of people. So yeah, I think it's totally avoidable. We did kind of even had one incident on the Horizon bridge. So that was a bridge between Ethereum and Harmony. So what happened is that the Harmony, like that bridge got affected basically, and the hacker drained a bunch of tokens from the bridge smart contract. One of those tokens had our technology, and we were able to like freeze those stolen assets and retrieve them to like the updated version of the bridge. So basically that new bridge didn't have that bug anymore, but basically we were only able to retrieve one token out of many others. So basically, if we have like more integrations and more people using our tech, we are able to just help more people.
Yeah, sounds awesome. It's something that like I've been sort of talking about a lot on our channel, that, you know, I'm starting to lose respect for protocols that aren't partnering with, you know, a project like yourselves. Because for me, it just feels like it's a needless thing. It doesn't need to happen anymore. And it's alarming that we're not seeing more projects partner with, you know, your project Lossless, right? But what is the real long-term vision for Lossless?
Yeah, so when talking about the vision, I guess we kind of first need to understand what is our vision for the crypto in general, because that really defines where we as a crypto security company will go to. So where we imagine the whole like crypto ecosystem long term is basically it becoming the backbone of both financial and identity solutions. So like right now, Web2 has their own fragmented like versions of like identity management, you know, and find ways to manage finance, and like it's super fragmented, super like the barrier to entry is pretty like high. So we imagine that that's going to change with crypto once crypto becomes more and more mainstream. And in general, we see that it's just most likely going to change everything, how everything works. So we're going to have a way smoother process in a lot of these technology-based products and solutions that are built on Web3-based solutions. So in general, when we see crypto going that way, we see ourselves as a company also kind of going that way, meaning that we want to be a mainstream solution for all things related to crypto. So there's a lot of like companies that do a lot of security stuff in Web2, and because like the attack vectors are quite known in Web2, and we think that with time there's going to be just a very few companies emerging in Web3 also that do a lot of security, Web3 security solutions, and we see ourselves as one of those. Basically, we kind of already have a few working products. We think that that's going to maybe expand in the future, and our goal is just to make like crypto secure, because like that's like, I guess we are a little biased, but I think at the moment that's like the biggest challenge for crypto, you know, and for crypto to gain the mainstream adoption, you know, how to make it secure. So we see ourselves as a company solving that problem basically.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the hacks and um yeah, particularly around the bridges, because you see in so many projects doing bridges still, and very few looking at new ways of working, which I am kind of left scratching my head a little bit. But yeah, like I think whenever somebody loses money in crypto, right, they're somebody that's going to go away and tell all their friends and family, and that's just not good for adoption. So yeah, completely aligned to that. But I guess what's the unique selling proposition of Lossless, and how does it differentiate itself from other crypto projects in, say, the same sector?
Good question. And well, I think one of the things that I guess I shouldn't be saying if we would be a Web2 company, but in Web3, that's quite I think quite an achievement, is that we have a working product that actually has a track record of working, retrieving funds, freezing like incidents, and I think that's a quite big achievement in crypto, because we are so early, a lot of projects are experimenting, doing like different stuff, and that's all good. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff that emerges from that, but I think we with Lossless already achieved that. We already have like a working product, and I guess that's thing we are proud of, like the most. But also we achieved not only like a working product and real users, but also a nice token utility. So like our token is integrated in Lossless protocol as like a staking. You can stake Lossless tokens in order to report these incidents. You get rewarded by Lossless tokens if you are correct. So it already has an organic integration in the Lossless protocol side. And when we are talking about 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦, we are also like gonna be releasing token integration there too, so that because like right now 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗪, the threat intelligence and monitoring tool, it's tailored mostly to other crypto projects, but we want to change that a little and also make it available for the retail users and like just an average Joe that does some trading on some dexes or other places. So like we're gonna have a lossless token utility there. So I think, yeah, those two things are like the kind of the unique selling points for Lossless. We have working projects, we have a good token utility, and we have like real users.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic, and I'm excited about some of those things that you're talking about. Particularly the stuff for retail investors. Using dexes, trading, that sort of stuff. Because yeah, I think there's so much more that can be done in the space. That people perhaps with smaller sizes of investments can really look after those investments and watch them sort of grow over time. So anything like that I think is really, really positive. But what are the challenges, I guess, that Lossless face, and what are the plans to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so main challenge is basically adoption. And like we aren't like a meme coin or some like DeFi staking EL protocol with 100 XELs per month. We are a security company. Security is not sexy. It is hard to understand and like hard to pricing, even for the like other crypto projects that kind of are good with security. It's still sometimes hard to convince them that this is necessary. You yourself said that for you it's hard to understand why bridges and other protocols, like, yes, still doing like mistakes that were already done by other projects. So yeah, for us we are seeing kind of the same problem, the lack of education is because like a lot of people, they understand that security is important, but that's where the knowledge ends. Basically, they kind of know that they should do maybe this with their private key, but then they don't know that they also need to like manage their token approvals or do some other stuff. And of course, I think in the long term, people should not think about that. That's going to be solved by the tools that's like what we are trying to do here at Lossless, just make it as simple as possible to stay secure. But in the short term, there's gonna be like a lot of education that needs to be done in order for like security tools like ours to gain traction. So for us, the education and adoption are like the two biggest challenges right now.
Awesome. And what sort of partnerships, just, you know, we like to focus on some of the partnerships, you know, when we talk with projects, you know, what sort of partnerships have you managed to get, and how do they help the project?
Yeah. So we have like a lot of partnerships just because the way our protocol operates, meaning that every time a new token wants to use lossless protocol, they kind of have to not necessarily contact us, but like a lot of them prefer just to first of all know who is the team working behind this, if it's going to be maintained in the future, if are we going to help them with all the like maybe technical aspects of integration. But also then we usually work on partnerships too, just because like we like that they choose us and decide like that their project wants to be more secure. We really appreciate it. And from their side, they kind of like us because we provide that security like totally for free when we are talking about lossless protocols. So in general, we have around 40 projects that integrated lossless, and we have partnerships with those. There's like way more tokens than we have the partnerships with. So there's basically even more tokens that are using our tech, but like are not in direct contact. We are not doing co-marketing with them, but that's also most likely going to be changed in the future. So we're gonna like capitalize on those like unexplored like integrations basically. And then for ages, we also have like quite a good partnership with Harmony, because yeah, they were really impressed by, you know, that mitigation of incident that I mentioned earlier. So they are the users of 𝗲𝗔𝗓 and also our partners in developing this project. We also have Elysium on board. That's another blockchain that also decided to go all in with lossless. So they are both using 𝗲𝗔𝗓 and lossless protocol in all of their tooling. And it's a very the growth, their blockchain growth rate is pretty big. So it's a growing ecosystem, and that basically is opening leads for us to also, you know, interact with their ecosystem and the projects building on their ecosystem. And we also like are in contact with Phantom and Avalanche. So it's like kind of also like a mutual relationship where we, you know, are referring projects that may want to choose the blockchain, and also we are kind of hearing from them what new projects are building on their blockchain and trying to help them with security. So yeah, there's like, I guess, a lot of stuff going between projects that are building tokens and projects that are building chains. But also we have some most of the 𝗲𝗔𝗓 clients are also our partners, just because like they want to let their community, you know, that they're using this, they are secure with this. It's we see it as some sort of badge, you know, that they want to show us, and we also want to promote their project because we know that it's more secure than the others. So, you know, I think that like I cannot even like mention all of them just because of how many there are. But in general, I think that like previously we had audits as this like badge of kind of security, and right now we are trying to push more and more for projects to have like mentioning that they use lossless and use that as, you know, a badge of security.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome. And I guess it brings me to something else. You know, what are, I guess, the biggest achievements that Lossless have had so far? Because I think there's been some sizable ones. You know, I think it'd be good to rave about those, right?
Yeah. So I guess the first one that was really big for us and proved that, you know, our know-how can really we put into action is when we managed to retrieve the money stolen from the cream finance. So that was a pretty big sum of money. We are talking about tens of millions. So like we've done that through our network of white hacks and like investigations and like a lot of like complex stuff going under the hood that I cannot really go into deep. But that was one of the first achievements, I guess. Then we had smaller incidents that we managed to stop, and after those we had that Harmony incident on the Horizon Bridge, which once again we proved that the lossless protocol works. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think maybe even it was maybe even more than $1 million that we managed to retrieve at that point in time. So those were kind of the big achievements. And right now, when we are focusing on 𝗖𝗔𝗔𝗡𝗡, the threat intelligence monitoring tool, we once again can provenly show like which of the incidents 𝗖𝗔𝗔𝗡 can identify and spot. Like we have this backtesting feature, which basically allows you to add an address that got hacked, select a time range, and then we show you what sort of transactions 𝗖𝗔𝗔𝗡𝗧 could have spotted. So with that, we see that our success rate is like around 80%. And usually we give projects a few hours in advance before the attack happens. So our tool is able to spot the incident even before it happens. So we are pretty proud with that. And like we are still working on improving that even further with artificial intelligence and the heuristic improvements. So like right now, 𝗖𝗔𝗔𝗡𝗧 is live for around a year, and it has already scanned and analyzed more than a couple of billion of transactions. So like it's working all the time in the background. And being a CTO, that kind of is for me is an achievement in engineering, you know. Like it's not super trivial system to build.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. You touched on some of the challenges around like education, for example. But what are your thoughts on crypto regulation? Because I kind of feel like a lot of the talks, particularly in the US, are around a lot of these hacks and scams that have happened and people losing vast sums of money. Right? We know this happens in traditional finance as well, but obviously it puts a bit of a microscope over crypto. What are your thoughts on the regulation situation, and do you think there's anything there that Lossless can do to ease some of that tension that's there?
Yeah, we think a lot about this. When we are thinking about regulations in USA, I think it's like not very good in my opinion. Like I'm not saying that the current regulation is not good. I'm saying that the lack of regulation is not good. You know, we are seeing this beef between SEC and Coinbase. You know, and like right now it seems that there you have to operate by like in a Wild West. Like you decide to do some stuff. Maybe you talk with your lawyers and then you try and go and do that. But afterwards, you don't really know if that was like okay or not on the current law. So like it's pretty hard to operate in that environment. And I totally understand exchanges being pissed, you know, with SEC and others. And I totally understand the SEC when they kind of analyze what's happened and then they see that, okay, this is not okay. They didn't have the license. So I kind of can emphasize with both sides. But in the end, that lack of regulation is it's not helping at all. Like if we are talking about mainstream crypto adoption, we cannot like not think about regulation. It's not gonna be some sort of like shady place and also be a mainstream thing. Like if we want this to be mainstream, we have to have clear regulations where business and users can have like a clear boundaries how they operate. So That's why I think that what the European Union is doing with the 𝗕𝗂𝗍𝗂, like that new regulation package that kind of tries to like establish these boundaries for crypto assets, is pretty good. You know, it's made like, I talked with people that kind of are lawyers and read it, and they kind of said that it doesn't cover like a lot of cases. You know, it looks like they wanted to publish this fast and didn't cover a lot of edge cases. So it's not, you know, a perfect kind of regulatory framework, but it's still better than nothing. I think at least once we have some baseline that we need to like work on, we can you know, find the issues in that framework and try and adjust it, you know, and try to push the changes. But it's still better than working without it, and then I know trying to convince like regulators that you are not a criminal, you know, because like right now, like a lot of people still think, I guess, that cryptocurrencies and like criminal activities are very much linked. And I think one of the issues is the lack of regulation, just because if you're in that space, there's like lack of how things should be done, lack of information of how things should be done.
Yeah, so potentially circling back to education again, and I saw some stuff out of France recently where, you know, just looking at influencers in particular, they're looking to have them certified before they can, you know, do any sort of promotions online and stuff. So I think there's lots of really positive things happening in the space, and I've kind of said, like, from my thought process, that it's probably going to take a few iterations before they get it right, and I think that's also okay. You know, I think there'd be some pain points along the way, but overall, I agree. I think that we're getting closer to where we want to be, right? Like, and closer to getting that adoption, which I think is fantastic. What risks are associated with Lossless, and, you know, are there any plans around mitigation to any of those risks? I mean, you know, is regulation a risk potentially, for example?
Good question. So there are like, I guess we should talk about lossless protocol, because that's the thing that is kind of on chain. While the 𝗖𝗔𝗡𝗪 monitoring tool is like an off-chain monitoring tool, so it works more of like a traditional SaaS, except that we're gonna integrate like lossless token utility into it. But I don't see any risk coming from there. So coming back to lossless protocol, there are maybe a couple of risks that are associated with it. So I said, you know, that it allows you to freeze some amount of money by taking some amount of lossless tokens. So there is always a risk that somebody is going to do that maliciously. In the end, they're going to burn their stake, so they are not going to get their stake back, you know, but they could prevent you from kind of, I know, moving your assets when you need them the most. So that's maybe the biggest risk. We mitigate that by having a proper staking amount. So it's like not a trivial amount of money to free someone. Also, we have an ability to kind of unfreeze it in a short period of time if everyone on the lossless committee, that's a decentralized decision-making body, if everyone there agrees that this is an invalid report, we can immediately unfreeze that money. And also that reporter, that staker that submitted an invalid report, he loses the ability to do it again on the same address. So there's like some sort of denial of service mitigation that we do on chain. So that's maybe the biggest risk I see with lossless. But you know, it's been live for like more than a year and a half, and we never saw this happening. We saw people reporting some like bots that kind of managed to, like, when you are reporting a bot address, like it freezes that bot, but like the the developer that's working on that bot, he can just redeploy it on new smart contracts. So we kind of educated that it's mostly not a valid use case for lossless protocol, but we never saw like malicious, reports that try and freeze like good kind of accounts that don't have like stolen assets. But it's a risk, but I think not a common one, or not anything we couldn't mitigate. And then when talking about the regulatory risks, I guess when we started Lossless, there was these thoughts that maybe regulators would want to use Lossless to affect some accounts. So maybe there's like an address that's used, like that is sanctioned by OFAC, and maybe it's related to some terrorism, and essentially Lossless can't freeze that. But I don't really see anything bad in that. If like we kind of, if it's proven to the Lossless committee that this is like actually a malicious address that is actually related to terrorism, then that can be totally doable. So maybe it can even bring a confidence in the like this space even more. So but some people still see that as a risk, especially those hardcore decentralization fans. They don't really want anyone from like the institutions to doing anything like that. But yeah, as I said, we are trying to bring that philosophy that is from Web2 finance to Web3, but make it kind of somewhere in between, where it's both like useful and decentralized, but also it's kind of you just don't lose that much money, and like you just are way more secure.
Yeah, no, makes sense. And I think, those people that are really pro decentralization, it's still a decentralized approach to agree in that freeze. So I don't see how they can potentially be negative about that. I think it's definitely something that could bring confidence into the crypto space from a regulatory point of view, I feel. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, I guess, with our community that we haven't already covered?
One thing, I've talked a lot about Lossless protocol, and it's live on chain. A lot of projects are using it. Like we have a lot of integrations, and there's like a new token that's using our tech getting deployed almost every single week. But as I said in the beginning, our main focus right now is Lossless 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 threat intelligence and monitoring tool. We really feel that it's it's still early in the like crypto monitoring and like threat intelligence space, but we really feel that that's like the next big thing. Without it, we don't feel the mainstream adoption can kind of take place. So I one thing I want to mention is that I would recommend anyone going and trying to check it out, especially after we release the retail oriented features, just because like right now it's already free to monitor a couple of addresses. So even right now you could use it to maybe monitor like your favorite most used protocols and be informed in case there's an incident. So maybe after you then you can get the alert first and withdraw your money. Because in a lot of these incidents, one of the things we see is that if the incident happens and not all of the liquidity is kind of stolen from the protocol, there's still chances to save your money, but it's like if you are coming there last after a day or two, then most likely all of the liquidity is already withdrawn. So it's important to like react fast, and I would recommend everyone to go and try and check 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 and try to monitor like stuff they're using. But after we release retail oriented features, I would really recommend connecting your wallet and just being way more secure, like you don't need to do anything. It's gonna be like a simple app where you press connect wallet, and immediately we're gonna start looking at everything that's happening with your wallet and sending you alerts in case we see anything suspicious. There's going to be a panic button in case like you see that, okay, this action was triggered not by you. So there will be like a immediate flow of certain actions that will help you to kind of move all of your funds to your backup wallet. And we also thinking about front running. So like there's these scams, for example, where like you approve something, by mistake, meaning that, you approved your US to move some address to move out your USDT. Maybe you thought you are approving a trade on a DEX, but like you approved a scam address. So Aegis is going to be able to notice that and immediately revert that approval. So then it's actually working as like a firewall for your wallet. And yeah, as I said, one of the challenges for us is education. So yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that you must go and try out these tools to just learn about them, and then by learning about them, also become more secure.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it'd be great for our community to go check out those tools. I think they sound amazing, and definitely something that people should look to implement, in my opinion. I think, there's so many people that, get scammed in the space. I hear about, individuals being scammed from, $10,000 all the way up to like $200,000. And I'm experiencing, receiving these messages on a daily basis. It's, a space that is, just full of scams. So yeah, I do encourage everybody to go away, definitely look at the tools, educate yourselves, and, implement some of them as well, because, you got to think to yourself, like, is it really worth losing, the sum of money that you've got invested in crypto if you don't really need to? So yeah, Lossless, as everybody knows, I've been raving about you guys for a long time. It's fantastic to have you on the channel. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, and we'll have to do it again later down the line for sure.
Definitely. It was a pleasure.
So I'd like to say a big thank you to Lossless for making this interview possible. It's great to have them on the channel, supporting us, educate people on, I guess, safety in crypto, and, the possibilities, the stuff that's actually there that a lot of people don't seem to be talking about, which leaves me scratching my head a lot. Definitely go check out Lossless. Go check out some of the tools that are available for you to keep you safe in the space. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please share it. With other like-minded individuals. It really does support the channel and the projects that we cover here. Mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.